Widows in Cameroon have a guide to help them override all forms of torture after the deaths of their husband. The document was made available in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, today on the occasion of the International Widows' Day. You're watching the 6:15 p.m. newscast in the English language on Canal International. Thanks for joining us. My name is Gladys Sambudiba. Stay tuned for the headlines. Good news for widows in Cameroon who are usually subjected to torture after the death of their husbands. A document on the legal rights and protection of widows in Cameroon has been made available. This will help them exercise their rights and override all forms of torture. You will have more on this in this newscast. And a new Nigerian Consul General for the Littoral and West regions, Her Excellency Queen Efe Alexandra Clark Umero, was officially handed her exequatur this June 23, 2022. The National Advanced Police Academy in Yaoundé has been endowed with some 1,000 test kits for drug detention. The kits donated by the French Embassy this Thursday is to stop the rising rates of drug consumption and exploitation in the country. Those were our headlines. Stay tuned for developments. Good evening once again. Are you watching the primetime newscast in the English language on Canal International? We begin with the International Widows Day today. Cameroon gets the legal rights and protection for guide for widows. The document made available by the Minister of Women Empowerment and the Family in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, will guide the women exercise their rights and override torture or all forms of torture after the deaths of their husbands. The weapon was unveiled in the nation's capital this June 23 by Marie-Thérèse Abena Ondua in Yaoundé on the occasion of the International Widows' Day observed today. More with Haïsen Chia from Yaoundé.
Some of them are always subjected to all forms of violence, moral and physical torture after the death of their husbands. Others tagged witches and killers of their beloved departed husbands. Some families compelling the widows to indecent traditional practices like marrying the late husband's brother, most of them single-handedly taking up the burden of raising the children even after being deprived of their late husband's property.
It's not easy to me. It's very, very difficult because to take care of me, myself, and the children is not easy. Every year at the beginning of the classes, I'm the one to pay their fees. I have no support. I'm alone.
We were two. Now I am one. I have to handle the whole family. I have to do everything now on my own. And so I find it difficult to cope.
But today, there is good news for the vulnerable widows. The legal guide on the rights and protection of widows is now available in Cameroon. This unveiled by the Minister of Women Empowerment and the Family, Marie-Thérèse Abena Ondua, as she commemorates the 12th edition of the International Widows' Day with over 500 widows here at the Yaoundé 4 Council premises.
The document that was presented today is to help them enjoy their rights because they have rights that are abused.
Observed under the theme, Protect Widows, a Collective Responsibility, she reiterates that the document will be made available to all communities and in local languages.
Our ambition is to translate it in a simpler language so that it can be used in most of the local dialects through community radios, and be used by traditional rulers, traditional authorities, and through associations of women, because women have a lot of associations. And you as journalists, as communicators, we are hoping that you are going to relay the message so that it goes very, very far. That message should not just be limited to Yaoundé. It should go in the grassroots, in rural areas.
The initiative the women applaud as a weapon which will help them battle their oppressors.
And then we talk about the new Nigerian Consul General for the Littoral and West regions that have officially taken up functions today in Douala with the duty to upgrade the living standards of over 7 million Nigerians living in Cameroon and consolidate ties between Cameroon and Nigeria. Her Excellency Queen Efe Alexandra Clark Umeru was officially handed her exequatur this June 23rd by Littoral's Governor Samuel Jodene Ivaha Deboa. Morindi tells us more.
The handing over of these exequatur to the new Consul General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the Littoral and West regions marks the beginning of her journey as part of the Consular Corps in Douala. In a solemn ceremony, June 23, chaired by Littoral Governor Jodene Ivaha Deboa, Her Excellency and His Royal Majesty Queen Efa Alexandra Clark Umeru was challenged to work for the interests of the close to 7 million Nigerian population residents in Cameroon and continue to consolidate the relations between both countries.
Nigeria and Cameroon, they are brothers. We've come a long way. We have bilateral trade issues. We have a lot of Nigerian companies here.
The ceremony is highly attended by diplomats, dignitaries, administrative, religious, and Nigerian citizens from all walks of life. Like in previous years, the Nigerians residents in Douala again expressed the need for the Consul General to upgrade their standards in Cameroon.
Most of our problems are the police and the gendarmerie on the road. Sometimes in the custom sector, we don't know if it is custom is in charge of goods or police or gendarme.
Everything that it takes to make the two countries, live in harmony, friendly, and then extend to other levels is the special place that we want the consul to do a special work.
Are concerned that the new Consulate General says is part of our priority projects.
I will work to protect the interests of the Nigerians here, to work in collaboration with the Cameroonian authorities, that Nigerians that reside here are law-abiding.
Born in 1972, her last job was chargé d'affaires in Pretoria, South Africa.
Considering that many children are deprived from writing official examination or signing all the documents when they grow up due to lack of birth certificates, an association in the Douala 4 subdivision is bent on establishing these documents for children. The special operation has been launched in the Douala 4 subdivision and will run for 1 week, as we hear in the following report.
Lack of birth certificates, the first civil document that establishes the legal existence of an individual, remains preoccupying in Cameroon. In 2020, UNICEF estimated that 66.1% of children in Cameroon were without birth certificates. In an effort to assist parents establish the document for their children in Douala, the Men and Women Union for Development is organizing this 1-week campaign in Bonaberry, Douala 4 subdivision.
Comment with complication now, why that now will not be unable to make the birth certificate?
There are many people here that don't have birth certificate and even the ID card, so they don't know where to go. And then since they are not the people here, and people here, there are a lot of things disturbing them, then they will see that if we create it here nearby, then it will be possible for them
This young man is in anguish. He lost his birth certificate few years ago in a mass house destruction exercise in Kumba Bonaberi in 2014.
Depuis les difficultés qu'on a eues, qu'on m'a cassé ici en Kumba.
I lost all my documents during the destruction of houses in Kumba. When it was time to renew my identity card, I couldn't. I was advised to return to where I was born to obtain a declaration. But unfortunately, the data was missing because the office that could provide the data was consumed by fire. I can't sign any document, even at my job site. I am happy that this union is organizing this campaign. I am hoping to obtain my birth certificate at last.
Et par la grâce de cette maman, pour être en position de mon acte de naissance.
According to the union's president, who works in collaboration with the Douala 4 Council, they are hoping to register and establish 1,000 birth certificates to children and adults during this phase of the campaign.
We talk about the platform to valorize and promote Afro-Caribbean products and services. This will take place at an international fair in Douala, Cameroon's economic city, an opportunity for entrepreneurs and investors to exchange to better valorize goods made in Cameroon, Africa, and the Caribbean. This was made known at a press briefing in Cameroon's economic city, June 22nd. More in the following report.
Marketing these goods made in Cameroon is a real challenge for producers. They equally still have difficulties producing goods that meet international standards, have problems with labeling and quantities that could meet international demand.
It's not only the African market is one of the markets, but one of the best things is firstly to make the result of the commercialization of the product in Africa. That will be the best. And secondly, we have other markets.
On the occasion of the second edition of the International Fair to promote Afro-Caribbean goods and services, announced for the 1st to the 2nd of July 2022, it was revealed that entrepreneurs will have the opportunity to gain knowledge on how to source for funding and upgrade their goods and services to meet international standards.
The technique of commercialization, that's one of the things I have to do. And second thing, how to have a financial accompaniment to the project. Many of your young people have a project, but they don't have a resource to starting the project. And the other thing is the banking people, financial, how to put the money to help those people to valorize the project or to produce to send to the market.
According to organizers, it would be a platform to valorize excellence and innovation of talents. PSAO has a goal to promote made in Africa and Caribbean goods. Through this event, we are hoping to put to light our know-how in Africa and the Pacific Caribbean. It is time to let the world know the origin of our goods. Pressmen and women were told at this conference that the event to take place in Douala will be a good occasion for managers, buyers and investors to exchange and network.
Move from the economy to health to talk about the need to adopt a One Health approach in addressing neglected tropical diseases has been highlighted in a workshop in Cameroon's economic city. The workshop brought together stakeholders of the CEMAC sub-region to assess the state of the One Health approach in the region. Regina Lekatanda with more.
They are viral parasitic bacterial diseases affecting the world's poorest people. Call them neglected tropical diseases, but these infections continue having a toll on the world's most vulnerable. A workshop to better apply the One Health approach in addressing these tropical diseases for the CEMAC sub-region has taken place in Douala.
To take in account the three dimensions animal, human, and environmental. That is to say, how can we combine all those three concepts to make sure that people are taking care of what's happened in these 6 countries in CEMAC.
Organized by OCIEC with the support of the German Development Bank, KfW, the workshop seeks to help CEMAC countries adopt policies that can help promote the One Health concept to permit populations avert different tropical diseases.
There's a lot of disease, drepanocytosis, zoonose, let's say filariose, and so on. There's a lot of disease inside. So I'm dealing with how can we finance all those diseases?
The workshop was also an opportunity to make an assessment of the state of things with regards to the implementation of One Health, which seeks a collaborative approach to attain optimal health for men, animals, and the environment.
The National Police Academy in the nation's capital has been endowed with 1,000 test kits for drug detection. The kits donated by the French Embassy is to stop the rising rates of drug consumption and exportation in the country. They rolled this especially at road checkpoints, at airports and at seaports. More with Omo Kusumi from Yaoundé.
This is the small material used to detect drug contents. There is cocaine, marijuana, Indian herb, and many others consumed by individuals. When used, it shows the type and the rate of drug consumed in a short period of time. There is 15 minutes.
Avec un système de stylet qui comporte à son
With this
extrémité
well-styled
un petit
system,
tampon qui est
which
juste
at the top
passé à
there
l'intérieur
is a
de
small
paroi buccale
button.
de la personne
This is
concernée,
put into the
qui est
concerned
ensuite inséré
nostrils,
simplement
later
dans un
inserted
logement
into this drug check container, and the result of the quantity and quality of the drug consumed is shown.
Qui va afficher dans un délai de 15 minutes dans l'organisme de la personne concernée.
After some days of training given to these security men and women, drugs detection kits were handed to them. This tells it to ease their work on the field. It is very easy, flexible and important.
L'avantage, c'est que ces tests sont très modernes et ils ont surtout un long maintien.
The advantage is that the test is very modern and the physical result lasts for long, because the main problem of drug tests is that it doesn't stay, it disappears very fast, and this also illustrates the type of drugs consumed and its use just once. The time too is very rapid and important.
Déjà de la prise en compte du dossier par les différents parquets.
The 1,000 kit for drug detection is to reinforce security surveillance measures to combat the rising phenomenon of drug consumption in Cameroon.
And it is with that report that we wrap up this edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canal International. The French edition will be yours at 7:50 p.m. with Aimé Catherine Mokori. Up next is L'Actualité de debrief with Lil Piedju. I will be yours again tomorrow, same time, God willing. Bye-bye.